Raiders, what's up? What's gonna be? It's your boy, the local resident Commander fan, King Don Suave, back with another video. Just a little quick video. Right now we got the NFL playoffs happening today and tomorrow, the divisional round. So I'm gonna give my prediction on it. I'm gonna share the spreads on it. So any of y'all that like to do that NGL, DraftKings, or wherever it is, I'm gonna give you the odds on it and say you should go for it or not. Then we're going to get into the main ingredient. I'm talking about the Commanders. We're going to talk about they got a new offensive coordinator. Do people like him? Do people hate the move? We're also going to talk about bringing a local legend. His son is joining the Commanders as well. So we'll get into that. Well, if you see me on YouTube, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Also comment down below what we opinion, what we'll talk about. If you see me on any other social media, the Gram, Facebook, TikTok, or whatever, make sure you do the same. Alright, but before we get into the NFL playoffs, anybody knew me from the radio knew I had this thing called the motivational talk, in which I'll say something and speak on it. So I'm going to do that again for this one. And this is coming from the book of James. I'm talking about James 1:8. And it states this: being a double-minded man, unstable and restless in all his ways, in everything he thinks, feels, or decides. For the meaning of that means someone with divided loyalties or beliefs, wavering between trusting God and trusting the world, because inconsistent, indecisive, and lacks a firm foundation in faith, affecting all areas of their life. This quote-unquote two-soul person can't rely on God for wisdom and stability, leading to confusion, erratic actions, contrasting with the call for wholehearted devotion. So, in retrospect, look, make up your mind. That's simply what it is. Make up your mind. You're either going to love him or you're not. You're either going to trust him or you're not. And even so, in your daily life, make up your mind. What do you want to do? Keep constantly going back and forth like you're in a seesaw. It's not going to work. You need to go full-fledged into what you need to do. Go 100% in what you want to do, and then go ahead and do it for it. In a relationship, you're going to be for that person or you're not. In your job, you can be for that job or you're not. But this going back and forth thing,
6'7", 6'7", 6'7", 6'7".
This going back and forth thing, look, it's over with, it's played out. Look, just make up your mind, y'all. Alright? So now, let's get into the NFL playoffs.
Are you ready for some football?
So, first game we got is coming up at 4:30 today. This is the Bills versus the Broncos. Now, this game is going to be very important for not just the Broncos, because this is a great defensive team. Sean Payton back in the playoffs, but I think this game is more important for Josh Allen. If you listen to the radio show I did on 790 AM Sports Insight that comes on Fridays at 6 p.m., I talked about how the fearsome foursome that a lot of people call in the AFC, which is Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. Well, for years, because Josh Allen's 8-6 in the playoffs, but if you look at his losses, 5 of his losses has came from 2 of the fearsome foursome. He lost 4 times to Patrick Mahomes. He lost 1 time to Joe Burrow. And his first loss was to the Texans. That was, 2016. We won't worry about that, but that has been his Achilles heel. And if you look at the Buffalo Bills, the times that they get to the playoffs, those guys are in his way. Even last season, last playoffs, if Mark Andrews would have caught that pass against the Bills and went to overtime, who would say that Lamar Jackson and the Ravens wouldn't have beaten the Bills? And then, once again, the fearsome foursome, Josh Allen's the last one. Because we already know, look at history, we already know how Patrick Mahomes is. You see how he's been in the conference championships, Super Bowls. Joe Burrow was in the Super Bowl as well. So, this game to me is very, very important more for Josh Allen. Because this, to me, is like possibly his last chance. When next season comes out, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens going to be healthy. Patrick Mahomes, he had a torn ACL, but the reports say he's trying to be back for week 1. The Chiefs are going to be back. Joe Burrow, if the Bengals fix on the defense, you already know the offense of the Bengals is lethal with him, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. They're lethal, so they're not going anywhere. Then you got the other teams as well. As you see the Jaguars, they're coming up. They're not going anywhere. Patriots, you see how they are with Mike Vrabel. They're not going anywhere. Broncos, they're the number 1 team. They're probably not going anywhere. Then you still got the Chargers. Who would say about the other teams that you know that's possibly looking for a head coach, as in the Steelers, the Dolphins? Who would say those other teams could be a sleeper for AFC? So as of right now, yeah, I believe that Josh Allen, this is his last chance. Because when next season comes, I don't see it. And then right now, Josh Allen got to be Superman. As your reports came, there are key figures that are injured that's not playing in today's game. And you're going against possibly the best defense in the NFL. I think they accumulated for 68 sacks. Patrick Surtain, the second, is probably one of the best corners in the NFL. So all this is literally setting up for almost kind of the fall for Josh Allen. But if you look at the numbers and the spreads, these are the spreads right now. As we look, the spread got the Bills at a -1.5. Over under a 45.5. So it's actually showing that maybe they don't think it's going to be a high scoring game. I mean, I wouldn't see it because, you know, like I said, the defense of the Broncos, and you know, and then Josh Allen's not known to get just blown out in the playoffs. So would I take that line? I would. I'll take that line because I do believe it's going to be a close game. Now, this is the part where you get a prediction. My heart wants Josh Allen to win. Josh Allen, I'm going to come in as we'll come in all in the Super Bowl. But as of right now in the AFC, who I want to see in the Super Bowl is between the Bills and the Texans. Bills because of Josh Allen, and shout out to Johnny D, you know, and all the Bills Mafia. You know, my boy Evil Genius from my Xbox, you know, Bills Mafia. Them, and then I like the Texans because of C.J. Stroud and then DeMeco Ryans. So those are 2 teams I want to see in the Super Bowl. But my mind's going with the Broncos. Sadly said that defense, you know, they always say offense wins games, defense wins championships. We have seen it. When you have a great defense, it hides a lot of the things the offense may not do well. I mean, look at the 85 Bears, look at the 2001 Ravens, look at the Buccaneers in the early 2000s. So when defense is stepping up, they literally will be the ones who be the scoring. So I'm torn, but I'm going with my heart. I think Josh Allen is going to show everybody his immortality, and he's going to pull off the win against the Broncos. Next game after the Broncos and the Bills game is the Seahawks and the 49ers. They play tonight at 8 o'clock. Now, if you look at the spread for that game, they have the Seahawks at a -7. And I get it. The Seahawks has been on a wreck this year. That defense is good. Sam Darnold is good. Kenneth Walker. And then the receiver and job. I mean, I saw firsthand what the Seahawks can do. When they played against the Commanders, it looked like they was having fun with the Commanders. And of course, you see in that game, that's when Jane Daniels basically left arm went inside out. And like I said, I worked for the Commanders. I seen the fans. It was back and forth. Fans was going against each other, saying how Jane Daniels should not be in the game. But that's another story for another day. And then the Seahawks. So the story is right now is that Sam Darnold has an oblique injury that just occurred. You know, Drew Lock has been taking first team reps. Now, Ryan Clark made some controversy statement about how this is basically feel like this is almost like a fake news type thing. And, you know, honestly, if it is, then, hey, I got no problem with it because you're going to do whatever it is to win. Al Davis says, simply plain, just win, baby. So, and then George Kittle is out. I mean, we already know that the Niners is riddled with injury. And this is a testament how Kyle Shanahan taking from a team that basically was riddled with injury so bad that we are the top 10 pick in the draft this upcoming year. The Niners, Kyle Shanahan and that staff, they deserve all types of awards for a team that's riddled injury and is in the playoffs with literally 8 quarters away to go to the Super Bowl. That should tell you exactly how Kyle Shanahan and that staff is. But -7, I wouldn't take that. I would not take that. I would take the Niners plus 7. I would. Do I think the Niners is going to win? I'll say this. Sam Darnold doesn't have playoff experience. Mind you, he only went to the playoffs thing one time with the Vikings. Brock Purdy, on the other half, as short as his career is, has playoff experience. He has big playoff experience. So, and then you guys still have Trent Williams. You know, shout out to the former Washington lineman, definitely a Hall of Famer. Trent Williams. You know, Fred Warner's even trying. I think he's gonna be out, but you know, just the fact that he's trying should give a boost morale to that defense and boost morale to the offense as well. And of course, Kyle Shanahan is still gonna look to change that narrative about the time he was in Atlanta, the 28-3. Even though Dan Quinn was the head coach, still the fact that Kyle Shanahan was a part of it. 28-3 is going to be held over the head of Dan Quinn and Kyle Shanahan because they should have won that Super Bowl. There's no way, no rhyme or reason the Falcons should have lost the Super Bowl to the Patriots. You're up 28-3. You should have ran the ball, took as much time off the clock, but you saw what happened. Patriots came in and won the Super Bowl. So my prediction for today is Bills winning. I do say take that -1.5 for the Bills. And the over/under, I definitely say under. I think it's gonna be a really, really not high power scoring game. I think like the defense will come in, so I definitely go with the under. Now I forgot to tell you about the Niners and the Seahawks over/under, which is also 45.5. I definitely go over. I go over on that one. There's no question about it. I know the defense, I talk about Seahawks defense, but, you know, like I said, the high-power offense that, in the season-wise, the Seahawks was, then you got scoring by the Niners as well. You know, even though they didn't score that much against the Eagles, they still won, so I'll definitely go over on that one. Now let's look until tomorrow, and this is the game that's really, I was like, so torn about because these are some close games. So first, we got in the AFC, which is the Texans and the Patriots. I want the Texans to win. I already told you that. I want CJ Stroud and DeMarco Lawrence to fight for that Super Bowl. Patriots, great story. You know, Mike Vrabel, first-year head coach with the Patriots, with his former team. They were looking like one of the beasts. You know, the whole Gerard Mayo thing, I ain't gonna lie, I'm a little salty about that. But hey, they got what they got what they got, they did what they did. Patriots, you know, Drake May, you know, all that's going on with the Patriots. And they looking like a good team under Mike Vrabel. You know, but if you look at the spread got the Patriots on a -3. Now, me personally, like I said, I'm going with the Texans. I'm going with Texans +3. I'm going with that. And for the over/under, they got it at 40.5. So basically like a low-scoring game. I'll go with the over. Go with the over. You got these teams are gonna score over 20 points. This might be a 27-24 game, 27-30 game, 24-21. So you know, and those type of scores. So this team's scoring over 20 points. So Texans definitely +3, over 40.5, and that game's tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Now the later game in the NFC is the Rams and the Bears. These are two they're evolving teams. I can't knock the Bears. I can't knock the Bears. You know, y'all saw what happened last year with the Bears, and this year Ben Johnson needs to be Coach of the Year. You gotta realize what happened since last year to this year. Ben Johnson left the Lions, head coach of the Bears. This team is looking like the team that could possibly go to the Super Bowl. Caleb Williams is playing like you thought he should have been playing. I mean, the running back situation. I had a guy at work even said that they compared it to the 1985 Bears.
What?
Pump your brakes. I told him straight up, I know you're a Bears fan, But that 1985 defense with Mike Singletary, William Perry, and them boys were something else. You know, even the days when Brian Urlacher, Lance Briggs, I don't know. I know you as a Bears fan, but I don't know compared it to 85 Bears. I mean, for goodness sake, they had a Super Bowl shuffle, and they weren't even in the Super Bowl yet. So, no. But I do understand the hype for the Chicago Bears. I also understand the hype for the Rams. I've been saying, and I actually was literally clown for this. Oh, I talked about Matthew Stafford. I said Matthew Stafford could be MVP. And I remember people like, no, look what's going on. Sean McVay. I wish we would have never let him go for Washington. Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford had gotten these boys to the playoffs. And Stafford, Puka, and that whole team looked like a well-run engine. And they are the number 5. And the Bears are number 2 team. Now let's look at the spread on this. So the spread on the Bears and Rams game, they got the Rams at -4.5. That to tell you exactly what I mean about Matthew Stafford and MVP. The Rams is -4.5 over the Bears, who is the number 2 team. And the over-under is 40.5. So the spread is saying that this is going to be a high-scoring game, which I truly believe. I definitely might take the over on that one. I think it's going to be over 48.5. But as for the Rams, -4.5, as much as I would love to see the Bears at least get to the conference championship so they can feel what we felt last year with Jaden Daniels, I'm going with the Rams in this one. I'm taking that -4.5 for the Rams because I do see that Rams are going to fight for that Super Bowl again because you know they beat the Bengals to win the Super Bowl. That's what Aaron Donald's thing is last year. So they're going for the Super Bowl. And I think, like I said before, I had them playing against their division because the panel of the NFC West is the division. Niners, 49ers, Seahawks, Rams. NFC West, 3 teams, and 1 team in NFC North was the Bears. So it looks like it could probably be an NFC West in the Super Bowl. And like for that side, I would want the Niners to be the Super Bowl. And all the reason is because of my brother, the Niners fan, and I know they looking for that 6th title to tie the Steelers and to tie the Patriots for the most Super Bowls in the NFL. So I see that, and yeah, I'm going with the Rams -4.5. So that was my prediction. Recap: we got Bills, Texans, Rams, and the Niners are winning to go to the conference round next week. Alright, so that's the NFL playoffs. Those are my predictions and my reasons with the spreads and the odds. Now let's get to the entree.
Those haters can't stand us. Left hand up. Who are we? The Commanders. Commanders. We fight for RDC. Who are we? The Commanders. Left hand up. Who are we?
Even though the season is over for the Washington Commanders, hey, doesn't mean the organization doesn't stop. Of course, let's talk about the big move that we heard. We heard it since last year, but you know now we're starting to see the designs. Of course, the finale of it. I'm talking about 2030. We're talking about this new RFK Stadium, and I'm gonna show you just a little bit of pictures right about now. Now, as you can see with these pictures, this is gonna be one beautiful stadium. But of course, anything that's new and all information comes up, there's gonna be controversy. One of the biggest controversies is the fact that fans are saying, well, where is the tailgating gonna be? If you listen to JP Finley, he told how the same issue happened with Atlanta. You know, they got the stadium, the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia, with the Falcons. So I asked that same question, and one of my co-hosts on Sports Insight 790 AM on WNIS 790, Coach Jones. Coach Jones is a former coach for the NFL. He said that in Atlanta they have a little area where tailgating could be at. And the same thing could possibly be used for the Commanders when they get their new stadium in 2030. And that's what JP Finley was talking about, how look at what Atlanta did with their stadium compared to what we can do for the Commander Stadium. So I just can't wait to go back to DC. Maryland, beautiful area. Landover was a beautiful area. Like I said, I've been working for the Commanders for 2 seasons. But to go back to DC, to go back to Washington, DC with the original RFK, you know, where that stadium was, like I said, I've been to it maybe a couple of times in my lifetime because, you know, growing up, I wasn't able to get there a lot of times. But my mother was, my uncle was, because they are Washington Redskins fans, still to this day. So it's going to be good to go back to, going back to DC. Now, the other news is our offensive coordinator. Now, if you remember, Cliff Kingsbury, he got let go to being an offensive coordinator, which also brought, once again, controversy. Some fans was like, maybe because the play calling that he was doing, but then when you actually look at the stats of it, you start to see that, hey, men line, women line numbers don't. He was a pretty balanced person. For the stuff that's going on inside, it said that him and Dan Quinn was not seeing eye on some things. Now reports are coming out that Cliff Kingsbury, his departure for Washington, there's some players that's not liking his departure. So we're going to see how that's going to go. But when the departure offensive coordinator, and we're looking, the first person that came out was former head coach of the Dolphins, Mike McDaniels. Now, a lot of people say again, like, why Washington should go get Mike McDaniels. Well, I will let this video from 10-7 go ahead and tell you what they thought about Washington going to get Mike McDaniels.
What's your initial reaction to Commander's job being open and him being available?
This is why you have a private jet. You should already be in the air. Get down there right now. Bring whoever you have to bring a suitcase full of money. Say, this is just a taste. Whatever you have to do.
This is just a taste.
Stop everything. Stop your dumb meeting. I don't care
about action movie with like a drug deal gone.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I don't care who you were supposed to be meeting with. You bring whoever you think the most charming guy in the ownership group is. Bring me Ein. Bring Rails.
That's Mitch Rails.
Yeah. Give me Josh Harris to sit in the background and agree, smoking a stogie like in the shadows. Give me Dan Quinn. Give me Peters. Fuel up that jet and get your ass down there, and do not let him say no. If you have to hog tie him, if you have to put him on the plane like Bane at the start of The Dark Knight Rises, bring him back to Washington, D.C. That's your offensive coordinator. Take nothing else. Do not let him leave the room under duress. Sign that contract in your own blood. Hurry up.
Would you like to put Jaden Daniels under center?
Like now.
I get it. I truly get it. Mike McDaniels was with Washington. And remember, if you look at the Washington coaching tree some time ago, good number of them have became coaches in the NFL. Mike McDaniels was a head coach. Sean McVay's a head coach. Kyle Shanahan's a head coach. So the tree that was actually in Washington, even down to either coordinators and defensive back coach, Raheem Morris was with the Commanders. This is why some people think that they should go get Raheem Morris for defensive coordinator for Washington. Because, you know, Joe Wood Jr. is not there no more. Dan Quinn took over head on defensive callings. So, there's a coordinator. Washington need one. So, a lot of people saying go get Raheem Morris, Brian Flores, you know, all the names. Then the report came out that Washington didn't go get Mike McDaniels as offensive coordinator. Instead, they promoted David Blough. I probably butchered your name, but I'm gonna give you a short bio of our new offensive coordinator. So, he's the recent offensive coordinator for the Washington Commanders, who's a fast-rising coach promoted from assistant quarterback coach in January 2026. Known for his playing days as a Purdue quarterback and backup in Detroit, Arizona. His smarts and a unique background, including magic tricks, and who is also married to, bringing a youthful, player-focused perspective to the offense. Just like he said, for his coaching transition from being a backup quarterback for the Cardinals and the Lions, he transitioned rapidly from player to coach and joined the Commander staff in 2024 as assistant quarterback coach, and like I said, this month being promoted to offensive coordinator. Now, of course, you got two sides. You have someone who actually is good with the move.
I believe the path that has brought him to this place should at least stir up a little bit of excitement, or at least a little bit of confidence that it could be a solid move.
Then you got someone maybe questioning the move.
I'm just a little bit skeptical that you hired a guy who was an assistant quarterbacks coach, who hasn't called plays, who hasn't run an offense, and is expected to step into a very critical year 3 for Dan Quinn, year 3 for Jaden Daniels, and it might not go well.
Now, my opinion is, I ain't not gonna lie, I did want Mike McDaniels. And the only reason I did want Mike McDaniels is because, last season with the Dolphins was not good at all, and the whole thing with Tua and the concussion and everything. But I also look at it as kind of connections. If we keep Deebo Samuels on Washington, him and Mike McDaniels played together. Mike McDaniels coached Deebo while he was with 49ers. So, you have that. Former 49ers players know Mike McDaniels. So, it's kind of that past thing that we still can talk to him, still can do things and go from there. But then I kept thinking about it, while you promote inside, maybe Jaden Daniels has a good thing with David Blow. Mind you, he was the assistant quarterback coach. So your star quarterback with the new offensive coordinator who already got ties together, who already know each other for 2 years and still growing, it can grow into something good. Plus, I know that the success of Ben Johnson is what a lot of people are saying how, look what Ben Johnson did. He was always a coordinator, and then he became the coach for the Bears, promoted from inside. This is why, actually, there's a report that Ben Johnson is actually good with the decision that Washington made for David Blow. But I do see the other side, though. Our franchise tendency, our things that's happened for years, we do live in PTSD as Commander fans. We do. Things happen we don't explain, and times it doesn't work out. And Washington fans are getting tired of it, especially, you had the new stadium coming in, going back to DC. It's like a lot of us still have that PTSD. And I get it. I'm the same way for the past 20 years. Past 30 years, it's been some time, last season, not this past season, but last season was an anomaly. Going to the conference championship, that's been there since 1991. So, I get it. But it's going to take time. Do I give up on Adam Peters? No. And I won't give up on him. I know some Washington fans starting to give up on him. But let's be real, y'all. We had Daniel Snyder, Bruce Allen was running Washington for a while. At one time, we had that general manager Scott McGuckin, or what his name was. Everything is new. It's a new ownership. Washington franchise has not been a great franchise, so a new ownership is not going to be able to come right in, change everything. Look, last season was an anomaly, y'all. It was. But a lot of things need to be fixed. Give it time. Some people want to quit on Dan Quinn so fast. Some people want to quit on Adam Peters so fast. Give it time, y'all. Give it time. We're going to see what's going to happen this season. Do I believe this is a make or break season? I won't say make or break, but this is a statement season. First season for Jaden Daniels, tremendous. Second season, not good at all. And there's your third season. So we're going to see when this happens. And we're going to want to stick behind our team. Alright? Now, once again, we got more news coming from Washington. As Washington now got a new quarterback coach. And this is JP Philly and B. Mitch talking about who's our new QB coach.
The Commanders hired DJ Williams as their new quarterbacks coach. DJ Williams last year was quarterbacks coach in Atlanta. Prior to that, he was an offensive assistant and the assistant quarterbacks coach in Atlanta in the 24 season. Prior to that, he spent 5 years in New Orleans as an offensive assistant from 2019 to 23. I read all that because DJ Williams also happens to be the son of Washington franchise legend Doug Douglas. I think it's really important for people to understand that DJ's been in the NFL for 6-7 years, and I think that's why he got the job. And it's funny that people jump to these conclusions that he only got the job because of Doug, and I think that is unfair. Like, this is a dude that's been in the league. People at that position bounce around the league.
Been in the league, and also, from what I was told, blew the interview away, okay? I think that's the people, and if that was the reason, hell, that happened all the time. He had no complaints about all the other ones that happened. I've had kids of mine get jobs in spots, and people thought I had something to do with it. I didn't have a damn thing to do with it. I never knew they were applying for the jobs, and they got it off of their own merit. And I think this is based off of the things I was told. This is exactly the same thing.
That's right. DJ Williams, son of quarterback legend from the Washington Redskins, Doug Williams, is coming over from Atlanta to be the new quarterback coach. Like, y'all, I understand he's with the Saints. He's with the Falcons. And his dad is with us. And people go automatically think of nepotism, because of his dad. But once again, y'all, he was a quarterback at Grambling. He also worked with Saints QBs for 6 or 7 years, and he also worked with Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix, and now he's coming with Jaden Daniels. As you can see, everything is getting really somewhat new. Looks like everything is getting kind of younger if you think about it. David Blow is 30 years old. DJ Williams is a very young guy as well. So everything is seeming to get younger. Which, actually, if you think about it, this is what some fans wanted. Some fans wanted Commanders to go younger, especially when it came to the defensive side of the players. That's why guys like people don't want Marshawn Lattimore there no more. Bobby Wagner's a great guy, but some people was like, he don't need to be on the field all the time. He got 2,000 tackles, so now he can go. And of course, it's a lot going on, man. And look, the season ain't even over. It's over for Commanders, but NFL's still going on. And there's still things that Washington got to do. We got to see what Zach Ertz is going to do. Is he going to retire? We're going to see what's going on with the running back situation. Austin Eckler, is he coming back to Washington? Still got Jeremy Nichols, Chris Rodriguez. You got Bill. You got those. What's going to happen with Deebo Samuels? So a lot of questions going to get answered in the upcoming months. I mean, like I said, you got the draft in April. You got off-season, trades, and all the stuff that's going to happen. Free agency, all stuff's going to happen. So we just need to see exactly what the Commanders are doing. And let's be real. They're looking to win. You cannot be possibly thinking you're going to move to a new stadium in DC, going back to where it all is, RFK, with a losing mentality. You don't think Josh Harris is going to want to bring in these guys and we don't see no type of winner in our future? That's not good business. And Josh Harris is about his money and about his business. So we're just going to see, y'all. We're going to see how this is going to turn out. We're going to see who Washington get for a defensive coordinator. We're going to see about the players that they're going to try to bring in. We're going to all see just everything is still so fresh. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think about the new hiring from Washington? What do you guys think about the NFL season, the NFL playoffs? Am I valid or not? Drop it in the comments section. And on the next episode of This So Disrespectful, we're gonna react to the playoffs and we're gonna react to even more news. But this is your boy Don Suave. I see y'all on the flip side. Peace.